Hello,
Hi.
co-workers, colleagues. My girl Tori is in the building. Long day of traveling. We missed you yesterday. Michael Dean filled in admirably, as he always does.
You guys got a lot of hits, and I'm concerned it should just be the Michael Dean and Al show.
Well, Michael Dean always has his microphone in front of him, and that is really that's like a bullet point when you go in for your yearly assessment. Microphone placement. It should be in the same room.
I'm
But yeah,
sorry.
no, everybody loves Michael Dean. Like I get way more comments from Sar about Michael Dean than I ever do about me, ever.
Really?
Yes.
Dean, then come on in. Just be part of it.
Yeah. Well, I like that's his thing. He's mysterious. He just comes in, he drops a gem, and then leaves, and everybody was like, it's the equivalent of the Al Jackson Ask Around. That's how he's on our show.
It's a good point.
How was DC? Talk to us, girl.
Oh my God, I had a lovely time. You had a laser treatment, Michael Dean. Can you just tell me in the comments in the private chat which kind? I need one as well. DC was a lot of fun, and I got to have Valentine's Day with my dad and my family. And
your original Valentine, baby.
That's right. And so he took us all to Saks Fifth Avenue. We're making this a tradition, and we got to buy a lipstick.
I love. Is that the shade you got?
That's the shade I got. And
what's the name of it?
Phantom by Chanel.
Oh, I like it.
and yeah, it was just really lovely seeing him. I'm not going to see him till Passover, or as the Jews call it, Pesach. And Jer's doing really well. Thank you for asking. We are going to have him on the show. I think maybe this week if we can, and talk about what's going on politically in our country. So it's so good to see you guys. I miss you all, and I'm glad to see you all. Al, how you been?
I've been great. I was so excited to tell you, but I was glad I got a chance to tell Michael Dean. I had to call the police on a white woman this weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything.
Yeah, I had to call the police really quickly. The colleagues heard it yesterday, but I'm on the phone with Sarah. Like maybe I wasn't even on. No, I wasn't on the phone with her. I was watching a Netflix doc, and I'm hearing a knocking on the door, and I'm thinking it's coming from the documentary, and then I realize it's at my hotel door, and I'm like, what is going on here? So I go there, and it's just that knuckle knock, just that let me in, and I'm like, you have the wrong room, ma'am. And she's like, no, I don't, Mark. Let me in. She's hammered. And so this goes on for 10 minutes. I called the front desk. The kid comes up. He's like 19. The woman's like, he's like, what room are you in? And I'll get you in your room. She's like, I don't have to tell you that. And it's like, Jesus, you know what I'm saying? Just tell him your damn room. And so she refuses. So I have to call the police because this is going on like 25 minutes. They come, they find her. She tried to hide, but she's like wearing no shoes. Then they brought her back to my door, like to be like, is this who? I'm like, it's her. Everyone else is asleep. Well, yes, it's her.
Is it her?
Yeah, that's my boo. I really wanted to get to the door and be like, every Valentine's Day we have to do this, baby. Come in here.
We always fight on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and I went up there, and I forgot how much I love New England. It's great up there.
It's amazing. My mother's from Massachusetts, Newton, if anyone cares.
Oh yeah, Newton, Mass. Shout out.
Newton, Mass. That's exactly right. If anyone's asking for any makeup tips, guys, I'm on a real kick here. They say you get a different change in your skin, and everything ages in 2 spaces in your life drastically when you turn 44 and when you turn 60. And I'm not 60, so.
Well, I remember Dr. Coley saying something that made sense. She said that you age in bursts.
That was a burst. This is my first burst. So I don't know. I'm just being critical, and I'm sure you guys all know what it's like when you're looking in the mirror and you're like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
What happened? You know what I mean? What happened?
Yeah. Well, you look beautiful, and I didn't tell you I had a crazy Uber situation, but I'll tell you that off camera. The funny thing was, and I didn't tell the colleagues this yesterday. Basically, my Uber driver fell asleep going from Denver Airport to Torrey. It was quite the weekend.
Yes, he was driving?
Yeah. And so I'm telling my Uber driver that's taking me back from the Hartford airport to the hotel where I would later have to call the police on the white woman. And he's a cool ass Indian dude. We were just talking, and he was like, he goes, me and my wife drive around here, and it's crazy too. He said, like last week, his wife goes, have you noticed that your Uber rating has been going down? And he was like, oh, I didn't notice, because he has all 5 stars, and they don't show you who, but then he would have like a 1 star out of nowhere.
What?
And his wife was like, I noticed, because I have the same thing. And, they lived in kind of a smaller community outside of Hartford. So they were like, any drive that you have in that community, the person, because it's probably like an older person getting their medicine every Tuesday or something. And they realized it was this older white guy that was giving them 1-star rating. So that they pick up all the time. So he said the next time he remembered that his wife said that. So he picks the guy up and he runs his errand to the grocery store. The guy, he said it was a snowstorm coming out. He helps the guy with his groceries from the store to the car. Then when they get to his house, from the car to his house, and the guy says, thank you, drives away, 1 star.
Again? Maybe is he like much older? Sometimes my mom thought 1 was like the best.
That is absolutely what happened. This dude thought that he was giving them a number 1 gold star for you. Clink. Don't mention it.
This poor gentleman. I wanted to say that I can hear myself. I'm so sorry. There was a mother that thought LOL meant lots of love, and she's like, today is grandpa's funeral, LOL.
Yeah. Like, oh, no. Yeah. And this guy, and the thing is, what the guy was telling me is like, it's almost like with a restaurant. I don't know if you guys we should all know this moving forward, because if you're going to give a restaurant a 1-star rating, which is well within your right, if they deserve it, make sure, because I think they say it takes 5 5-star ratings to counteract 1 1-star rating. Oh. It's like in school, if you got 100% on a test and then like a 50, you're already at a C, and if you got a 30, you're effed. Like a low score kills you.
It's terrible.
It's the same in Uber world.
So someone said the chat is all over my face, and I didn't understand what that meant, and now I get it. Like the words are written all over my face. You can try the horizontal if you guys want to, but we'll try and get that figured out, because I work hard. I pay for some of this,
Yeah. That sounds like a Taylor Swift song. The words are written all over my face.
And he never gave me my space.
And then what's the next line?
And all I did was pace, pace, pace back and forth in my heart.
You sound like somebody that was inspired by the Kid Rock halftime performance. I think we all were. All right, girl, let's get to these stories, because we have had, I would say, quite the week. Even for a day off yesterday, we had a lot going on.
I was talking going on.
Tori, as soon as I read the news, weirdly, I thought about you, and that was the passing of Jesse Jackson, 84 years old. I knew that he had been sick for some time. We haven't really seen him in the public eye for quite a while. So just really quickly, what were your thoughts? What were your initial thoughts when you heard about it?
I think people think of the Reverend Jesse Jackson as, I'm not sure people understand how vital he was to the civil rights movement, and how when Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in Memphis, first of all, I think Jesse Jackson was on the balcony or in the hotel with him at the time, but he took over the reins for MLK and continued his message, and really brought his message to an entire new lifetime because of him. There's a lot of his fiery words, and he makes a lot of sort of, I don't know if I'd say startling, but he's like a really intense speaker. And sometimes you kind of like, if you weren't born in that time, you don't remember that he was just like an integral part of allowing the civil rights movement in the 60s, we're talking the 60s, not that long time ago, to become the movement that it is today. So an incredibly important figure for race, for politics, for justice, for legislation. So yeah, he was very young when he was with Martin Luther. Guess how old Martin Luther King was when he died? He was 39. The man never ever reached 40. That's how crazy it is sometimes to think of how young that man was. And this young man at the time took up the helms and the reins, and he did the speeches and he provided leadership. So an incredibly important part of our civil rights history and our history in general. So an incredibly important person. What do you think of Val?
Well, you kind of brush up against it when you were talking, and I think your words are spot on and so eloquent. For me, as a Black man that has lived long enough to see Obama become president and then become reelected president, people forget that Jesse Jackson, at least in my lifetime, was the first credible Black man in my eyes to run for president. I don't know how much of the actual vote that he got, but Jesse Jackson was like the first Black person that ran that wasn't like Mr. T.
Yeah,
you know, no shade. Mr. T seems like he's a great guy, but you know, he was like the first time, like for me as a young Black man, especially growing up in the 80s, to be like, oh, like a real Black man threw his hat in the ring, and like people are talking about him like any other candidate, and he had name recognition. And you know, so for me, I wonder, you know, because we are close to the same age, I wonder if like a young Barack saw that and was like, that's a thing.
Absolutely. When they say they stand on the shoulders of giants before them, he was that giant. He made it a realistic opportunity, and people's minds that could happen at some point. I do remember him famously on Sesame Street, like many of you guys are talking about, saying you are somebody. And so he's just an icon. He's an icon, and he did an enormous service to this country to right a lot of horrific wrongs that were going on. So may his memory be a blessing. May his memory be a blessing.
And when we think about his memory, we also need to remember how difficult his life must have been.
He was 26 when MLK Jr. died. Thank you guys for letting me know. But imagine being 26 and you know where your life is headed and you are pointed in that direction and you gallop towards it. That is an incredible feat. I mean, that is incredible.
First of all, that's an incredible fro and fit on Sesame Street. Yes.
Look at that cool whole thing. The vibe of that.
I would wear that now, and I'm not joking. I am absolutely not joking. That's a cool sweater. It's interesting how fashion comes back and forth.
Totally.
Like, that's a dope look.
Totally looks good. And I would see you in that necklace.
I don't know if I could pull it off, but it's a really cool look. I would want to pull it off, but I always feel like I'm just dad enough where somebody's like, Colbert. I think somebody's dad just got divorced and is trying to like look young. That's what yeah, so that's what that would be. So you know, rest in power, Jesse Jackson. You touched everybody's life. Amen. And when I mentioned how difficult his life is, I was just thinking about like how many very credible death threats that he received everywhere that he went. Hotel rooms where no one was supposed to know where he was. You know, he definitely knew what the CIA and the FBI did to Fred Hampton and some of the Black Panthers. And he knew the power of the government and how the government was as much of an adversary as any white supremacist organization. So
who do you think shot and assassinated King? A lot of people say that the U.S. government was part of it. And yes, that was Sesame Street, Harry. But yeah.
Absolutely. And that's an even better point, Tori. Just you thankfully didn't allow me to skip over that. He was standing there,
right there.
when the government absolutely. What do you think? They didn't know who did that? James Earl Ray, who was the person that was accused and I believe prosecuted for the murder of Martin Luther King, was he was like a nickel and dime, you know, pocket thief. Yeah. He didn't have the ability to get a long range weapon and fight. It was
not like a world-class sniper on the Memphis balcony.
Right. He was a toothless dirtbag, and he was what they call a patsy. And he still stood tall.
Yeah, his last speech was "Man on the Mountain." That mountain speech thing. I might not make it over that mountain with you. He knew. I mean,
he knew.
King knew. So
Malcolm X knew as well. Yeah,
absolutely,
that's
right.
the harder thing. Is just I mean, think about John Lewis crossing what's the bridge in Alabama? The Edmund
Pettus, the Pettus Bridge.
Pettus. Yes. Thank you. You know, they knew they were about to get thoroughly beaten for doing that by the police.
Bloody Sunday. That's exactly
right. And they did it anyway. So when we throw words around like courage, let's make sure we give it to the people that deserve it most, the people that allow us to be here today and function as a society. All right, Tori.
I also really want to shout out quickly Robert Duvall also.
Yes, I was going to go to that next. So please talk about it.
I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
He was just one of the old school actors in my mind, kind of like a what is his name from Hoosiers who also passed? Gene Hackman. Famous for The Godfather, famous for Apocalypse Now, and an actor that disappears into the role, not like, oh, that's Tom Cruise, you know,
right?
All disappeared, much like Meryl Streep does and stuff. I'd love for you guys to write your favorite Robert Duvall movie if you have one in the comments. But what a loss! He was 95, surrounded by family, but he was just an actor's actor. You know what I mean? He was one of those old school guys. So a big shout out to him and his family, and he changed film history. So lots of sadness over the weekend for some passings, but again, may his memory be a blessing.
Yes, and I will say Robert Duvall touched me. I loved him in The Untouchables, and he'll always have a place in my heart because he was in, do you remember the TV show Lonesome Dove?
Yeah,
he was in that.
I just wrote it, Sonia.
Yeah, shout out. My dad used to watch Lonesome Dove, and so like they're just some of these shows that are just like burned into your
so many
your
people
core
are
memories.
Yes. They all love Lonesome Dove.
Shout out. Lonesome Dove was, you know what Lonesome Dove was? If y'all want to get into this, Lonesome Dove was the what's the big one now everybody watches? Not Landman. What was the one before that?
I don't even know what Lonesome Dove was about.
It was like kind of like a strip western a little bit.
Oh, Yellowstone?
Yellowstone, yes. It was that before Yellowstone. It was just kind of like a slow moving kind of western, you know, the prelude to Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman.
First of all, don't talk bad about that show. It's an important show for me.
Yes.
Show. And I do want to say that shot of him in Apocalypse Now where he's on the beach and the shots are coming in and the man doesn't move and he's just looking around and there's helicopters and shoot and everyone's ducking and he just goes, I love the smell of napalm in the morning. What a guy.
Yeah.
Can you,
amazing. I never knew there would be that many Lonesome Dove fans on here. I love the colleagues. Yeah, there's just like, you know what I used to like since Robert Duvall has posthumously sent us down this rabbit hole. I used to like, and I used to weirdly write jokes. Yes, what an iconic scene and iconic character.
Totally.
And just showing the non-glorious parts of war, because you have to remember up until this point, war movies were the beautiful shot where, you know, the guy throws the grenade, walks away, it explodes, and all the townspeople are like, thank you, America. This shows the mental degradation that happens when your central nervous system has snapped and you are no longer the person you used to be because there's so much external stimuli that you no longer. I was looking at this picture of a Russian soldier who had been involved in the Ukraine war for a number of years.
Yeah.
And he had PTSD, and it was a picture of him. He dug a trench in his backyard after he was discharged, and he was ducking down in it like he was home.
Wow.
And, you know, it's just like, it's always the politicians that get to stand tall and talk tough about we'll see you and the battlefield of glory. And then them and their, I just edited 9 words, and their coddled children then fly off to meet another war criminal on a boat. Meanwhile, us, the proletariat, the people, we got to go to war and come back and learn how to walk again, learn how to hug again. I told you when I did that show for those police officers, those high school police officers in Normal, Illinois, they were kind of joking, but they were like, it's so weird that we get honored because they were all war veterans, Afghanistan, Iraq. They were like, you guys honor us by setting off fireworks.
Yeah, which is the worst.
To a person, they were like, my wife knows I have to take a couple gummies. I have to go away because it's such a, and we're like, we're going to fire some, it's insane. But
he played it so well that he wasn't even like bothered by it, that his mind had gone to a place of just like, I'm just doing this and then I'm surfing and then I'm moving on. And it's like, what a good choice that people remember from the 70s of his lack of movement. I was just a brilliant filled out role. And it really showed you what war can do. That was crazy. This Is the End. To Kill a Mockingbird. He was also in that as well. Julia says, my dad in World War II had issues that were unknown back then. Back then, they really called it like war shock. And they had
shell shock. Yeah.
Shell shock. Excuse me. I can't believe I said that. Shell shock. And only after like World War II was it really sort of beginning to be diagnosed. The eyes would change, the shivering, the rocking, the noise stimulation. So all that came after. But you guys think I look like a lawyer? It's Rent the Runway. Maybe I should wear this and be like, objection. Just
Wait,
like
what lawyer? A lawyer that goes after people that haven't returned their library books? You look great.
Sir, you're late.
Yes, I believe you have a Moby Dick. We do not want to escalate this to federal court.
A tale of two cities. Yes, that's right.
All right, girl, let's do this. All right, Tori, the story that will not go away, but it doesn't make it any less sad any day that we talk about it. Nancy Guthrie, they were letting everybody know that they found DNA in the boxing glove and they were going to run it. And I took it as an implication, like we're then going to match this DNA up with somebody in the family because we know they did it. And we'll go ahead and solve this. And the DNA was like, you are not the father, equivalent to, So they're back to having zero, Tori. So the sheriff says no family members are suspects, and investigators have now fielded up to 40 to 50,000 leads. He's also pushing back on people attacking the family. Well, if I got the notion, Tori, that they were kind of side-eyeing the family, what do you think the general reactionary public was doing? And I can't believe that they didn't feel that would be happening as well, much like the police officers in the JonBenet Ramsey case, who still to this day get harassed.
Yeah, I think that's a natural thing that they probably should have been prepared for, because even before this investigation really got off, you're going to know this family is going to be looked at. I mean, really, you could go back to any of those cases, and you're absolutely right. The Elizabeth Smart case, I just watched that documentary, the JonBenet. They immediately went to the family and the closest people because they made some weird comments, or they looked funny, or they didn't have the right affect. You know what I mean? So
that was the case with Elizabeth Smart's dad. He didn't have the right affect. It's like he might be in total shock right now, maybe. Yeah.
Totally. So DNA profile did not match the family nor anybody in CODIS, which if you are into true crime, you know, is like the code, the index of all, when you get in trouble and you're taken in, you get your fingerprint taken. That's listed and saved in CODIS, and it has solved a lot of mystery. So the person hasn't had a prior to this, any kind of arrest before. I agree with Julia a lot here in that the sheriff, or he's called the PIO also, the police information officer, it just doesn't seem like, I don't have any trust in this man. He doesn't seem to come across competent. He could have said something about the family beforehand, as you just said, in preparation for people thinking that. He seems all over the place. They're now sending out something called a signal sniffer, which I cannot imagine why they didn't do this earlier, Al, but it is to find her pacemaker, and it can sort of beep, beep, beep kind of thing to find. We do know that it stopped syncing with her Apple Watch, but there is a way to look for it otherwise. And again, he also forgot that majorly important drone that in the first couple hours that would have gone out and searched visually the grounds around them, and says that's a major regret. So somehow TMZ, I see Marcy's comment, TMZ received a note saying she may have been taken to Mexico. TMZ has become like a player in this. The ransom notes are like coming into TMZ. They're reporting on it. They're sort of an intermediary between the family and the ransom note. Savannah left another message saying how much we miss her, we want her. And then importantly, Al, I watched a profiler go over her comments, and she said, "You are not alone," to the kidnapper. "Whoever you are, there is hope. You're not alone." And there's a sense of trying to understand that this person feels quite isolated, maybe some guilt, maybe some regret. And there's a way to talk to the kidnapper in a way that's saying, you know, easing that, which is a psychological hack to try and get that through. I'm sure she's being taught and trained to do this, but yeah, this whole thing feels real weird. It feels super premeditated and then super off the fly of his pants. Like the notes coming in to TMZ, it just all seems really bizarre.
Tori, you're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
It felt weird from the time we saw the footage, and he used like a bird's nest to cover up the camera. Like he's this much of an oaf. He didn't anticipate that there'd be a Ring doorbell camera.
Right, exactly. And then the gloves were left like all over, which you would think he would take. And also, if you're going to kidnap someone with a pacemaker and it's targeted, you take their medicine. Like, you know, they need their medicine. If you're that trained and prepared, you know, you got to grab that medicine. She needs it every day for her heart. So it just doesn't feel like a professional. And yet they still can't find sort of any clue on this guy. But again, I do not think that we will see Savannah at the desk ever again on the TV show. And I just feel
her last couple messages, I think MD said it yesterday when we looked at one of her outgoing messages, but he was just like, she looks bad. She looks bad.
She looks like someone whose mother was taken, you know, like
yes, not bad, like, oh, she's not hot. I'm talking about like bad, like we are human beings and we are animals. Totally. And there is a sense of sorrow that seeps through your emotions and onto your face when somebody is so emotionally drained and sad that it shows up in your physical. Like that's kind of the situation
and constant crying,
dealing with. Yeah,
like her swollen. I do think they did say, by the way, guys, they are using genealogy, which many people have solved cases, including the BTK killer, to find the DNA and then try and find the family tree. So they find somebody related to that DNA, they can try and find the killer. And that has been successful in a lot of recent crimes. They did say that they're going to be using that kind of technology, which I would think that they do. But Trump has made this priority number one for Kash Patel. And he's apparently on it. I know. I didn't want to make any jokes, but they're trying very
since he's got that Epstein thing wrapped up.
It's all finished. I mean,
he trafficked girls to himself. So shut your mouth and move on. Thank you. Agreed. Yeah. It's well, I mean, I hesitate to go here, you know, but at this point, everything that we've thought was like weird and conspiratorial has not only come to fruition, but in 4K, there have been some thoughts that there might be some connections with Samantha Guthrie. Her husband was a high-ranking PR official that worked in the Clinton administration for a number of years. Samantha Guthrie was open about trying to get more out there about the Epstein survivors. This was happening at a time when the second batch of Epstein files had dropped and a distraction was needed. And I don't see how it could be completely implausible. They've offered to pay the money. The person or people that took her seem to have no interest in that. And at this point, I mean, I think not that it would matter, but we really have to wonder, like, what is the resolution going to be in this case? And how does the family move on?
Yeah.
Aside from politics and jobs and all that kind of stuff, like, how do you have, you know, Thanksgivings and birthdays and you have no resolution as to why grandma isn't there?
Yeah. And there's got to be a sense of self-blame for Savannah. I'm in the public eye. I have all that money. I've brought my mom onto the Today Show multiple times. She is well known as my mom. Like, apparently Today's Show staff have said they will no longer be treating their families. You know how they're always like, and my dad, come on out, dad. Or like they said none of that will be happening anymore because of targeting. But I do agree with Aaron Porter and Al that this was the distraction that Trump wanted. Again, not that he wanted this to happen, but he is trying to make this the thing we all talk about. As famously Carolyn Levitt said, we're going to move on from the Epstein files. And that was words she will take with her forever, because that's not happening. We will not allow that. So they're trying to make this solvable. But again, we have no clues, very, very little clues. Yeah. Michael Dean said the Dow's at 50,000 people.
Well, yeah, that will never
go down in history.
You know what hit me the first time I heard that clip is like, she caught herself kind of the same way Trump does when he slurs a word.
Yeah.
You know, he'll be like, that team is undefeated. Can you believe that? Can you believe the team is undefeated?
Speaker or something? Yeah.
Yeah. She caught, because she was about to say the Dow is at $50,000. And I was like, this isn't the Price is Right. And that's not how the Dow is measured. And she caught herself. She goes, the Dow's at $50,000. The economy's good. I was like, oh, look, you've been learning.
Yeah. And I think she knew it coming out. Probably not a great response to child rape and torture, like alleged, you know what I mean? Like that was going to be the thing. But
yeah, well, maybe she shouldn't be speaking on, as the Attorney General, lead counsel for the United States. Maybe she shouldn't be speaking on financial matters.
Yeah.
What do I know?
Very strange.
I'm not the AG.
I just don't. Yeah, it just, and that was one of the worst hearings I've ever seen, and I think her not looking at those survivors will also go down in our history books as well.
Yeah, and it kind of, whether they meant to or not, here's what I would say about politics is they divide people along racial lines, religious lines, socioeconomic lines. But what I've said since day one is when the Trump administration starts going hard about drug addicts, starts going on about, poor people, needing handouts. That's half your base, bruh. That's half the Democratic base, bruh. A lot of people in this country know or love or have lost people that have lost their addiction to substances. Maybe check your son, Prez.
Yeah, right.
The most open. I lived in Miami for 10 years. I can tell when some things are going on.
Yeah, and I do think now that I'm hearing more and more they're going to impeach both Trump and JD Vance when they get the midterms, and you're starting to see the Democrats starting to put a little more confidence. For instance, not a surprise or coincidence that we saw the Michelle and Barack Obama with their daughter at the NBA All-Star game to a roaring standing ovation. Not a bad time to bring out the people that have given decency to this country and are on the Democratic side. I don't know if he just wanted to go or if that was something that was planned, but it was a good move for the Democrats to show there is a president that we can be proud of, and he's still here. And it was just a good move on their part, in my opinion. Her hair did look awful, Jag. I do want to say, someone wrote that her hairdresser was secretly part of the resistance.
Just gonna use this new spray we got in.
It was really bad. But I think even she knew, because on Fox they were calling her a screaming Karen, and she must know that did not go well. She was spying on many of the Congress people while they looked at the search histories. And also,
you called that out first, Tor. That was the first time I had heard about that. And I've heard that over and over since. But you were the first, when you first started talking, I was like, what is she talking about? Is that? I was like, then I saw a still image and I was like, oh.
Yeah, you saw that photographer got it. And then to have published the victims and survivors' pictures instead and redacted the perpetrators, like to do the exact opposite of what they said they're going to do. So again, March 31st, it is the word on the street all over DC that there will be enough for an impeachment. And also that Marco Rubio has been still redacted in the Epstein files and has written and that they have his name, and someone will be announcing that because he shouldn't have been. All politicians were not allowed to be redacted according to the Epstein Transparency Act. So I think that that's interesting.
Yeah,
about.
they really
Everyone's in
didn't.
the cabinet, Lutnick, Rubio. I mean, it's just very interesting.
Well, that's the question, Tori, is what do we do if it's everybody?
Yeah.
Because
Someone
we're
said
going
it
to get to the
all down.
Stephen Colbert story in a second, but I wonder if I have it on this computer. But because I don't drink and I have a lot of free time, I started to make a flow chart, and Sarah looked at the iPad and she goes, "Is that a flow chart of shadiness?" And I was like, "That's exactly what we're going to call it." And I started making a flow chart of shadiness, and it's all how interconnected. You see that, like, everything that we discuss, everybody that we have talked about for the last 3 months, they are all hold on here, I got it queued up here. They're all, it's just the same people that keep coming back. It's Bannon, it's it's all these guys in different capacities. Sometimes Bannon wants to just destabilize the government. Otherwise, sometimes it's somebody trying to clean up his image, but it's all the same people. And I just wonder, what do we do, Tori, if our whole government is complicit?
So,
which it seems like they might be.
yeah, Pam Bondi very famously said, if you were going to take them all down, then you would have the collapse of the entire government. And someone's like, let it collapse then. Trump knows from Roy Cohn, who is his mentor, always keep the people who have the dirt and the bodies, keep them very, very close. So we've got the Rubios, we've got the Howard Lutnick, we have the Bannons, we have people listed in there, Elon Musk, all those people that were listed in there, he's kept them extremely close because he's a favor president. He's a quid pro quo president. So he's like, they can't rat on me, then I'll keep them close. By the way, Pam Bondi was the Florida Attorney General during the whole first Epstein situation. So she let a lot of things go. And I wouldn't be surprised if she knew a lot more and let things go way back when in Florida. So
well, remember, Bondi got on his radar, colleagues, because she initially was tasked with overseeing the Trump University fraud.
Yes, and
Trump then donated $25,000. That's all, 25 grand. You can't even get a new Civic for that. First of all, the new Civics are real dope, but you can't even get like a new car for 25 grand. And she got that 25 grand in her Venmo, and she was like, nothing to see here.
Yeah, she
and just moved on. And from there, Trump was like, "Oh, I got me one right here.
There's one right there.
I got me one."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. And I mean, we may see other governments in other countries fall. I mean, Mendelsohn.
They arrested the Norwegian prime minister already because he's in the files. I mean, you're seeing other countries take accountability, and we're just not seeing that here.
Well, I'll tell you, Tori, what we will see, because the internet, I think, which is something that these guys never saw coming, they're like, well, the Republicans said, no, we can't see it. Okay, fine. But guess what? Other countries aren't playing by our rules. Yeah, they are releasing the unredacted. And guess what? The internet is able to bring those files right over here.
Seems like
we're going to. Yeah, it's crazy. You could even send a screenshot. Yeah. And so we are going to have to deal with this as a country. And we'll have distractions like the Colbert thing we're going to get to. But eventually, as a country, we're going to have to decide if for the next 3 years, we are okay with seeing television screens in which every politician on them is directly, not tangentially, directly implicated in the Epstein files. I'm talking about returned emails. Yeah. I'm talking about emails between assistants.
Yeah.
Are we cool with that or not?
Are we cool with the president of the United States allegedly being a pedophile? Or now there's reports of torture. There's reports of sacrificing. There's reports of satanic information and instruction and congregations that went on during this. I mean, this goes real far, real fast, and other countries are taking quick action. And we are supposed to be the role model for the world, and we look.
Well, Tori, did you see that right before we went on, right before we started the show, that the new owner of the Zorro Ranch, which is Epstein's other mansion, which is he's also a MAGA guy, more connections. They said that they're open to having the property excavated.
For children.
Because we're hearing about a lot of children and about a lot of women being trafficked and possibly being taken out. But we don't, where are they? We see the number of survivors were able to fit basically on one wide shot. That day that they were outside of the House of Representatives with Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, apparently there was about
thousands of women.
Yeah, there were 1,000 women at least that they think were part of this. And there is a report, and again, this is MSN has reported on it, but again, I was looking for a second source on this, but that Robin Leach, Robin Leach,
I heard his name too.
Lives of the Rich and Famous. Here's a golden toilet. Robin Leach. Witness has come forward saying many people witnessed him strangle a little girl to death. And then she was promptly then moved and discussed to be buried at the Donald Trump golf course. This is the same golf course in which there were a lot of those parties that Epstein had, and that his wife, Ivana, his first wife, is so rudely left with a clump of burial mound. There's no grave for her, just left on his golf course, buried there for tax purposes, so he could get some tax benefits from it. But if that's his go-to for putting a body in the ground, you wonder if they'll be excavating that when Democrats come into power. So this is way bigger than we thought, and way more involved and way darker, way more evil. I mean, I think the torture and the alleged cannibalism and the eating of and the sacrificing, the satanic, I mean, we don't know enough to speak on it, but this is all stuff that we thought was like crazy talk. And now Roy Khanna is coming out and saying there's a lot of satanic messages that throughout all of this. So it's not great. Did
you see that video? And I asked Michael Dean about this yesterday. It was very jarring. And Michael Dean, maybe if you want to search for it, I don't know. All you have to put in is like Mexican model yelling 2009. I think. Did you see this?
I saw that. She ran
out. Tell the colleagues what happened.
So there's a woman.
Tori, I got chills in a way. Like, I'm autistic. I don't feel things. And I was like, oh my God. It was really terrifying. Like.
So she
tell everybody what happened.
She ran out of an Epstein party, and she was a very young woman, and she's screaming, hysterical, out of control. And she keeps saying they're eating people. They're eating those people, those humans, those children. They're eating them. And no one believed her. And everyone thought she was on something and she was crazy. And like, even me telling you guys this feels like this can't be real in America, that this goes on. But more and more things are coming out to support the evidence that this possibly went down. And I hate to do this, but the code word was jerky. Like, I'm going to have some jerky tonight. And that apparently is relates to skin or something of young children. We do have the video. So if Michael Dean could play this, guys, it's a trigger warning if you're uncomfortable.
Absolutely. And let's give a beat for anybody that doesn't want to see us. And I'll set this up to give some people a little bit more time if you want to mute this or turn away for a second. But this was a model. The pictures that they have of her, not that this matters, but she was stunning. This was not like a person that's experiencing a break from reality, that might be off their medication, that might be saying crazy things. This was a stunning, successful model. And after she went through this mental break in this hotel lobby, she was taken away, and her family has never seen her again, and she has never been heard from again, which is really interesting. How many models do you know just disappear? Yeah. That's what we're dealing with, and we need to be able to come at this head on, because what we're dealing with is something that I don't think that we've ever even seen laid out in any horror movie.
No, it's like the worst one that you wouldn't even believe. And everyone you could see being like, what a crazy person, like what she is at. And like, to now to now start to hear like all of this is adding up. All the details are adding up. It's a very terrifying video. And for the person who said Democrats are not going to be in power, Mr. Lindsey Graham himself has said we will probably lose the House and possibly the Senate in the midterm. So I just want you to know that this isn't coming just from me. This is coming from deep, deep red Republicans, knowing with the Obama racist ape tweet and this all coming out right now, they've lost the midterms, in my opinion. So
yeah, it's pretty gruesome.
Very.
And I just want there to be some accountability, because I'll tell you, this goes both ways. And Democrats need to listen up for this, because if you guys get in office and start talking about that, we need to look forward, not backward shit.
Hell no.
You need to be like the people. Well, I'm telling you, it'll be better not to run if you're going to try and Merrick Garland your way out of this.
I agree with you.
This is one of the few things on this planet, any issue, that you will have the majority of both parties, even the most polarized side, saying this can't stand, man.
So, the newspaper, New York Times, came out today. 77% of Americans, not Republicans or Democrats, Americans want the full release of the Epstein files and are not ready to let this go. So it's not going away, and it shouldn't go away, because this is the most depraved type of act that you could do. And to children, remember that basement trap door they found in the boat and the house of Jeffrey Epstein that just leads right to the ocean? Why is that there?
What other purpose? Or you're super smart, could have gone to any college you want to. Yeah, what other purpose would having a door like that in your house? What would you need that for?
None. Sherlock said the simplest answer is always going to be the one that answers the question. Why do you have a trapdoor leading to the ocean? And why are we now hearing about children that are missing? Madeleine McCann. Anybody remember
Tori, it was coming out of my mouth, girl.
That young girl that went missing in, I think it was Portugal. Her family was visiting.
Yes, it was like a beautiful Portuguese, like coastal resort town.
Yeah, and she went missing, and the sketch artist of who took her looks identical to Ghislaine Maxwell. Identical. It's her. And I've been watching documentaries about Madeleine McCann. This was in, I believe, the 90s. And we've been following this case. The parents were blamed. And if this was part of the sex trafficking ring, man, how global did this go? So incredibly terrifying to see that. That gave me chills too. It was just,
and again, the parents were blamed in that situation as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
This
is something that is going to be a worldwide reckoning.
Yeah.
And maybe a shift in power, because the number of people in power that will be taken down or touched by this it's going to be the majority of people.
Yeah,
and we'll see how partisan you are when you read some of this.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be partisan. It's like humans against pedophilia. I feel like it's not left or right. It's just good versus evil. I feel like both can get on the same page in this. But the Sultan, who is the one we now know liked the torture video, said, I loved the torture video. Not only is he resigned. Can you
imagine how depraved you would have to be to write that over email?
I completely agree with you. And he dropped out as CEO of DP World, which is an enormous corporation, and now he's been arrested. You've seen the pilot. You've seen the pilot that took him all away was arrested off of a plane, a British pilot taken into custody. And now there's a gynecologist who they said was Epstein saw for decades. Why would Epstein need a gynecologist on hand? You know what I mean? On a retainer. He's being looked into as well. Pritzker stepped down from the Hyatt board. Look, if this collapses what we know is our government, collapse it. Like, just because that causes chaos.
I got time to do a new election. I'm fine.
Totally agree.
I'm not married to any of these people. And I mean, when you think about like how this will, just like you think about just the BS story that was attempted to be fed to us about his death, whether he's dead or not, could be an entirely other podcast, which I would love to do.
Totally.
But just the fact that, you know, remember we were talking months ago and we were like, both guards fell asleep.
Right.
This is because if you think about it, just Tory, from a human aspect, me and you get picked to do guard duty. We are guarding the highest profile prisoner, definitely alive today, bigger than the Unabomber, bigger than El Chapo. You and I, we put our phones on silent because we know if anything happens, it is going to be our head.
Yeah.
Our head. If anything happens to this dude, we both then go to work and we get real sleepy.
Yeah.
Both of us.
That really just does. Both of us. Right. Both of us.
Both of us. Hold on, Tori. I got to do this.
That's good. You're
that
absolutely
dog
right.
don't hunt.
That's right.
Tori,
and there's
everything that we've been told is such a terrible lie. It's so embarrassing.
And we all took it. And what's so interesting is there is a officer saying that there was a truck that pulled up, and he thinks and told his wife as a witness that I think they switched him out before it happened. And now there's somebody, his tattoo doesn't match in his autopsy picture. It's just, look, I thought all of these were conspiracy theories before. Like, if you were telling me I was going to talk about children being cannibalized in a satanic ritual, I would be like, you are out of your mind. And I'm now literally telling you that in a serious manner, that congressmen are looking into that and saying this gets worse and worse. Now, remember, the 26th, I believe, Bill Clinton testifies, and he will be on his sword and swears, and it will be public, cameras will be rolling, that he will empty out the truth about Donald Trump, enough that they would be able to impeach him right away. So he's in all the pictures. And I'm not saying as a Democrat, if Bill Clinton had something to do with this, you take him down too. Okay. He deserves
I think he's willing to do that.
I think that's exactly right, Al. I think he's willing to fall on his sword, and he made sure this was public. He would not testify without a camera rolling, that he knows all the dirt about Trump. And you can see Trump very carefully being like, I like Bill. I thought Hillary was a very hard debater. And you trying to appease the situation, but no, not a good one.
Yeah, this is the story of our lifetime, and I think we're gonna have a lot of old men with some what do you call it, deathbed confessions. I think Bill Clinton, I don't know how old he is, but he doesn't look great.
Well, his heart is in bad shape. Yeah,
and I think that he may be willing to, because I think the thing is, when you're a human, and I've always said this with guys that I knew that got a woman pregnant that they weren't super pleased to get pregnant. And when they were in their 20s, their first thought was like, well, I'm not going to talk to her. I don't need to, she did that on purpose. And some of them I know did it. They didn't, interact with the child. They didn't interact with the mother. And basically the term deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes along when you're mid-20s, late 20s, early 30s, because your life is still loud. You're still going out. Man, forget her. I don't know. That's a trap, baby. I ain't dealing with that. But you know what, Tori? As life keeps going, it gets a little bit quieter. When you hit your 40s, you get a little bit, it's quieter in the mornings. And you have a lot of time to think about, like, damn, that kid's 14 now.
Yeah.
I wonder what they look like. And your thoughts about the things that you've done in your past become louder than the noisy nightclubs that you used to go to. And I think that Bill Clinton has had a whole bunch of time to do a lot of thinking, and he knows what went down on that island. And I think and I think Trump knows too. Trump will never have those feelings. He has a mental health issue.
But I think you're 100% right. Lee says, I think Bill feels he won't be around long, so he will say it all. I don't disagree with you at all. And I also think Ed Z, who says, no, Bill is going to take the fifth. I do disagree with you on that. I know Ghislaine Maxwell did the whole time. I know you're legally allowed to, but not only does that man love a microphone and speaking, in my mind, he's ready to tell all, because it's the moment. The moment is here. Like, the moment you either say it or you don't. It's of retribution is here. And according to sources, he's ready to spill it all. So. Yeah,
and I have a feeling that will be rightfully stamped out, because I think that they know that their hold on this is tenuous at best. And well, let's move on, because speaking of people trying to hold on to and keep people from speaking their truth, Michael Dean, let's move on to Stephen Colbert. Tori, have you been following this story?
Yes. So Stephen Colbert had an interview with James, the Democratic, I can't say his last name.
Tallarico, I think.
Thank you so much, Tallarico. And he is the Texas candidate that won in a district that Trump had won by 17 points. And he's a liberal, he's a Democrat, and he won. They had an interview. It was a great interview. And Stephen Colbert is claiming that Barry Weiss, who we all now know, who took over CBS, who is pulling certain stories to make it better for Trump, pulled the story and said it could not be played. And Stephen Colbert is just coming out and saying they took it away. James has now posted it on his Instagram, the full interview. But the CBS, just before we got on today, Al, has come out and said that isn't true. We were trying to tell you that the legal part of this might be iffy or something. They're skirting it,
No, but I believe CBS.
Yeah, exactly. So another censorship from CBS and again, Colbert's show is ending because of this. Jimmy Kimmel was almost ripped off the air. So the censorship is getting out of control, but thank God Stephen Colbert is going to let us know, thank God. But that's what we're getting now.
Well, Tori, I mean, once again, the law of unintended consequences. You don't like that, what Stephen Colbert has been saying about you. So you want to act like Zeus from high atop Olympus and strike down the show, even though it seems very illegal. You have the FCC guy in your pocket, so he allows that to go. Brendan Carr, yes. And so you do it. You strike the show down and you're feeling good. You're like, how'd you like that, smart mouth? Well, CBS, Trump, what happens when you strike a showdown, but you don't turn the cameras off for another year, is now you have zero control over what that person does or says. I was talking this weekend to a person that was it has spent a lifetime in radio, and they're still on a pretty big radio show, sports radio show nationally. And they were saying, like, when they've known other shows that have been canceled, especially radio shows, if they fire the Al and Tori morning show, security walks you out of the building, even mid-shift,
right?
Because they can't let us get back on the microphone and be like, let it fly, because we might have some things to say about our bosses.
Yeah, he's got nothing to lose, Colbert.
He's got nothing to
lose. He's going in July, and he's not going to hold back at all. And he's a good man. I mean, he's a strong Catholic with real beliefs, and I've always loved Stephen Colbert, and I just can't believe what CBS has turned into. What a joke! What an
absolute embarrassment! But also, Tori, the thing with Representative Tallarico is that he is also a devout Christian. I first saw him when I saw a clip of Joe Rogan, and he is what the Republicans do not want people to think exists.
Exactly.
Which is a true Christian, a real Christian that is a Democrat, because they always say the running thing is you can't be a Democrat and a Christian. You can't do it. That's their thing.
Yeah. The right owns religion. They think they own religion. They think they own the American flag, and they absolutely do not. And he is living proof of it. Also, Anderson Cooper making an exit because he no longer trusts the CBS at all. I don't know when it's time, but Barry Weiss is got to be on. It's TikTok for her. It's just got to be time. At some point, you can't lose your biggest stars and expect to continue going with this much controversy and getting mocked in front of people at the Golden Globes from Nikki Glaser. Like, at some point,
on your own network.
Your own network.
I mean, why do you think that the obvious kind of takeover of CBS, because the reason they wanted CBS is Fox has its own legion of cult followers. It's not going anywhere, but Fox is aging out.
Yeah.
And it is a cable station that doesn't have the reputation of a long-standing network like CBS, long-standing pillars of public knowledge like 60 Minutes. And so I think that they thought that they were just going to slowly take over CBS and people wouldn't really notice. They'd be like, oh, we're just going to take it and make it a little bit more right, a little bit more right. Do you think that they were too heavy-handed? Because now CBS is an absolute joke. And this kind of started with when Ta-Nehisi Coates ripped up that reporter on the morning show that went after him about his book. And it has been all downhill since. Do you see any redemption? And even if Barry Weiss was to step down, which he absolutely will not, what do you see CBS ending up being? Because we've never seen one of the big three fall. Like, how far, like, what will CBS, even when I watch football on CBS, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, there's a weird.
I noticed it. I'm like, oh, I'm watching
like,
CBS.
This doesn't feel good. Yeah. I think remember when they had that story about the prison or the detainment center that they
yes, when they skunked that story.
Yeah, and then I don't think they thought that the reporters would speak out about it. Like, I genuinely think they didn't. And I think you're right. Maybe they went too heavy-handed too quickly, but she just imploded the station of integrity, of dignity, of anyone trusting them. I mean, to have Anderson Cooper, just walk because of the reputation in which he does not want to be a part of. That's your biggest star. So G. Carter says damage control aisle 1 through 9. I completely agree. I also agree with Slapshot. I think as long as Trump is president, Weiss is safe. I'd kind of agree with that, but I don't know how safe Trump is. From what I'm hearing about the impeachment process. They're also now telling Trump that unless you fire Kristi Noem, she will be impeached and convicted as well. So he got the
convicted, like go to jail convicted?
No, the Senate has to convict. Once you're impeached, that's only half the process. The Senate has to convict by 2/3 to then you have to leave your station, your position. Trump's now in 27% approval rating, which is the lowest ever. And he stopped Gallup polling because of it. Like, Gallup poll will no longer do presidential polls because he is at the 27th level, 27%, which is, laughable. Just laughable. So I think the Dems really do have something when they say we have the votes, and they're not just playing chicken. I think they do have the votes, and that means Republicans would switch sides, and I think they have that. So
yeah. And they've got even more information than the public does about Kristi Noem. And I think they're kind of teeing Kristi up because now you notice more and more leaks because she's the one that's allegedly having the affair with Corey Lewandowski.
Yeah.
And so you have a great way to go, oh, morals clause, got to get rid of her kind of thing.
Totally.
Yeah. Did you see they have a bed on the plane?
Yeah, I did.
Things about that, please.
And I think Tom Homan, who is the head of
DHS.
DHS. I think he has started to argue with her in public speeches about her behavior and her rhetoric. So there's divisions within, which is never good to see. So she's being thrown quite quickly under the bus, which happens. But yeah, Democrats have warned him they have the votes. So interesting.
Can you imagine you're Kristi Noem and Tom Homan, who is caught on camera taking a bribe from the FBI, is talking to you about your behavior being unruly? And Greg Bovino's like, come on, Kristi, get it together.
I know.
I'm a Nazi. And but I respect the sanctity of marriage. I'm a Nazi, not a maniac.
I'm not a maniac. She held a gun, an automatic gun, next to a border patrol and pointed at his head in some kind of like prop. But everyone was like, put the gun down. It was so dangerous. So it's she's not. I think a lot of those people will be taken down and impeached a lot. And if the whole thing blows, the whole thing goes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you remember like what a big deal? And I mean, she still got classic lines like, I don't read, or I read all the magazines, but like what a national spectacle Sarah Palin was.
I know. She didn't read newspapers and we're like, boo.
Right. And like, she said goofy things and she was clearly like, just like, Obama's a Muslim neck. That was her big bazooka blast. She wouldn't be on page 8 of Psychopath magazine of all of these.
I know.
It's just like Nazi closet case, meth, we're on it, bribe taker, turn the page. Oh, torture porn. Like Sarah Palin is nothing.
Someone wrote, "Bring Palin back." I mean,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
They just kept leveling up and with stupidity until they got to the creme de la creme of people that will continue to, I think, throughout our lifetimes. Because, Tori, we're still 2 or 3 years away from all the information being gathered and the documentaries start coming out, the full-length movies start coming out, poetry, music, art, painting, sculptures about what we are living through, and the fact that there is a period of time where it appears that our entire government allegedly was in on the biggest sex scandal ring of all time.
I know QAnon has always said there's a pedophile ring that's heading Washington, but they always said it was the Democrats. And it's like, y'all were not wrong. You just had the wrong party. It's like, wow, they really did just run, allegedly. Yeah. They're running Washington.
Well, I mean, there was like two kinds of QAnon. There was like that QAnon, which is kind of like diet QAnon.
Yeah.
And then there was like the Joe Biden is a clone robot.
Yeah.
And Trump will take over the presidency the day of the inauguration. He'll come down there. That was like the hardcore. That was the right wing of QAnon.
Yeah.
But once again, the moderates knocked it out of the park.
I know. Unbelievable.
Mea culpa. I thought you guys should have all been committed to facilities. Granted, no one has health care, so that couldn't happen. But, you know, in another country that did have public, I would have encouraged you all to have been remanded to some kind of psychiatric ward. But you guys were the ones that I was just like, there's no way.
Yeah, of course not.
My question was like, well, wouldn't people be talking about missing babies? And it's like, Madeleine McCann, those students in Mexico, those 47 students that they can't find.
The Juarez.
Yeah, it's just like, oh.
I know. It's getting worse and worse. By the way, just to put on a happier note here, it is the Lunar New Year today. I want to say there's a solar eclipse tonight. It's the start, I believe, of Ramadan as well as something else. There's like so much energy today. They say to put something red on. So Sam Shocker made me a little heart on my hand. But don't wash your hair today. Don't cut anything. And try not to take out the trash. Those are the 3 things I've learned.
Who would be doing that anyway?
Well, I mean, I could have showered today.
I've already taken out the trash.
It is the year of the fire horse. And instead of the snake, which is all about shedding, it is the year to gallop forward towards what your direction should be. A lot of energy tonight, the solar eclipse. So again, Fat Tuesday also today. So a lot of cultures having.
There will be a lot of energy in the drunk tank. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people are going to wake up tomorrow in a holding cell with no shoes and someone else's cell phone in their pocket? Who's Maggie? It's like, you're calling numbers. Can you tell them that Mike said, please call his mom? Yeah.
So, someone said I sent my boyfriend to the dump. Okay, just try and wear something red or put a red dot on you somewhere and try to realize.
Did Emlo break up with her man?
I don't know, Emlo. I think he actually just went to the dump. Some people have to go to the dump.
Oh.
But you want to really, if you're going to do something tonight or you've never done anything before, make tonight the night you journal about your plans and you start thinking about your direction. You light a candle, you put out some water, you do something in a ritualistic way.
Anything you would do in the mid 1800s. Get out your journal, your writing quill, light an oil lamp.
It's right. Tonight is energetic. So just be wary of that, y'all. A lot of power.
Tori, you know, you've been wearing me down. I'm starting to get into the whole energy thing. I'm not with the crystals and any of that, but I think there's something to it. That's as far as I will go. And I will deny I ever said that.
I appreciate that.
All right, Tori, we were running late, but I had to talk to you. I missed you.
I missed you too so much.
So Michael Dean, great job as always. Appreciate the videos and all the stuff you do for the show. Absolutely. Colleagues, we would not have a show if it wasn't for you guys. So check us out. We will be here. I am probably going to do a solo show tomorrow. 99% sure. I don't think I have anything to do, but if I don't, I'll be here. But if not, we'll be back Thursday. So colleagues, on behalf of Tori and her lovely unwashed hair,
I mean, I watched it last night with a candle to be like, bring it in.
How close was the candle to your hair? Because I just could see getting a text from MD that in all caps says no show today.
That's very true. Yeah, red heart, yellow hands. I don't know what you're supposed to do with yellow, but and eat some noodles. I'm really just throwing stuff out here. I'm not.
You really are. Just like, don't make left turns. I think God said that. Okay. All right, girl. I love you, colleague. See you soon.